A black student organization at the University of California, Berkeley, demanding that the university rename a building on campus after a former Black Panther who is also a convicted cop killer. Assata Shakur was convicted in the shooting death of a New Jersey state trooper back in 1973. She's still on the run, probably in Cuba. The student group sees her as, quote, an icon of resistance.
We want the renaming into someone, Assata Shakur, who we feel like represent us as black students.
Really? Well, the student group has 9 other demands, including the creation of an African-American student center and the hiring of black psychologists experienced in racial discrimination. Do they have a right to those concerns? Joining us right now is Claire Chiara. She is a junior at UC Berkeley and the president of the College Republicans. Good morning to you, Claire.
Good morning. How are you?
I'm doing okay, but I'm a little puzzled why these students would want to name a building after a convicted cop killer.
I am as puzzled as you are. I find it extremely disturbing. I don't understand exactly how this request was even brought to the table to begin with. The grievances voiced by this student group were about underrepresentation on the UC campus, and their reaction to this underrepresentation and their proposed solution is to rename a campus building after a terrorist, after a convicted felon. And regardless of race, ethnicity, gender, or other cultural background, I can't fathom any respectable reason why a publicly funded university in America would celebrate and promote a figure like this on their campus. I cannot come up with an acceptable reason why this is justified.
Well, because the students say she is an icon of resistance. The New Jersey state troopers and the fellow who was murdered years ago, the troopers put out this statement. There's the fellow who died. They say, we use state and federal tax dollars to support an institution where a group of extremist, anti-American leaning students make an unqualified demand that indemnifies a cold-blooded terrorist using revisionist history to hail her as a hero. Claire, let me ask you this. The students say they feel isolated and oppressed on campus. What is the proportion of black students at Berkeley?
The last I heard, black students represent about 3% of our student body.
Okay, that seems like a low number. Why is that?
You know, it's a difficult question to answer. The reason that they propose is that it's systemic oppression, but most of us are aware of the fact that the UC system does a lot of active recruitment in underrepresented communities and tries to make sure that our campus is representative of the greater demographic of California and even of the country. And so the reason why their representation on campus is so low could be them self-selecting out of attending the university, or it could be simply a matter of not being admitted to the school. It doesn't necessarily mean that the school has a particular prejudice against a group.
Well, the group did give a deadline and an ultimatum to the chancellor. I believe it was a couple of days ago on St. Patrick's Day. They did not respond. They have not renamed the building. What happens next?
You know, these types of student groups, these type of extremist demands are made on the UC Berkeley campus more than once a week. And oftentimes the administration does ignore it. Sometimes the administration caves. I think ultimately the student group wants their demands met. I don't think that they want to go to battle with the administration that allows them the very ability to try to make these demands and try to enter into these negotiations. But at the end of the day, they're attempting to celebrate someone who is a known terrorist, and they're portraying her as an innocent civil rights leader, when in fact she is essentially the antithesis of Martin Luther King Jr. and other members of the civil rights movement, people that put themselves in harm's way, people that that risk their lives in order to change the things in America that needed to be changed, and ultimately it improved the course of history. And this woman is the opposite of that. She's not a civil rights pioneer.
No,
she's a criminal
killer.
Convicted of a vile crime.
Absolutely. It's crazy that they would ask for that. They're not going to get it.
It is.
Claire Chiara, thank you very much. You're the first person up in San Francisco this morning, where it's 4:20 in the morning. Thank you very much for joining us on this Friday.
Thank you for having me.
All right.